What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strackbine, joined always by my main man, Jacob Punteri. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talker. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers made a move that nobody saw coming. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, and it was by no means the guy that we had on any list imaginable. And if you said that he was on yours, you're lying. Meanwhile, Mike Tomlin spoke today, and our buddy Jacob here has a way to potentially fix what is wrong with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm very excited for it. And it's Tuesday, which means Overreaction Tuesday. I got a 4-pack for you that I am fired up to give. It is a beautiful one here in the Berg. We're almost at New England, my friend. It's already Tuesday. How you feeling? How are you feeling, my friend?
Like our boy Caleb Johnson, I'm just trying to get better every single day. And here we are again at our latest attempts to do so. I will tell you that my music background choice of the day was the album The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. So it's been a great day because of that.
It's a beautiful album.
So yeah, I'm trying to turn the page. If you can pick up on that, I'm trying to look forward to New England, and I do like you hinted at. I've been trying to do a lot of work this week in investigating on how the Steelers can also move forward, which will make me just even happier.
I love it. I love it. Somebody said one time, we tossed on the YouTube page, we said, hey guys, we want to be better for you. How do we do that? And the best comment we got a lot of really great comments. I don't want to undermine any of them, but the one comment that stood out to me forever will be, the way Jacob answers, how you feeling, my friend, gets me every single day. And I now know exactly what they mean when they say that. So shout out my boy, shout out the comment. Shout out to Caleb Johnson, man, who lost his job today as a kick returner and may never get it back. But, you know, you move on, you get better, and Caleb Johnson's got the goals out there. Let's talk about the guy that everybody is here to talk and listen about, and that is Isaiah Hodgins, who, I will not lie to you, did not know existed until about an hour and a half ago when the Pittsburgh Steelers announced that they have signed him to a contract, a former New York Giants wideout. He's 26 years old, spent some time in Buffalo. His best season is about 351 yards with the Giants. He hasn't had noticeable play in 2 years. 2023, 21 receptions, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 9 starts last year. Played in just 2 or 3 games, I believe. He comes here in a moment where the Steelers maybe need wide receiver help, maybe don't need wide receiver help. I think it kind of depends on who you ask and what their outlook on the team is. But he comes here nonetheless to add to an offense, potentially add to a receiving core, to be, this comes with a question mark, an outside guy behind DK Metcalf. I'm going to ask you, why did they do it? Why is Isaiah Hodgins in Pittsburgh right now? What does he add to this team that maybe nobody sees coming, or maybe that we all see very clear in front of us? And, well, we just don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. What's your thoughts on the move?
Well, listen, I think I'm probably as floored as most other people are, because this is, a wide receiver who not only doesn't move the needle, but I struggle to see as a legitimate threat to crack the 53-man roster. I see him in the similar light to, they brought in another practice squad guy in Raheem Jarrett last week. And I just, the only explanation I can give, or the only information I can collect on Hodgins that is a little bit different, is he does bring some length and some height to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's 6'3", so a very much a different makeup, a different physical build than Calvin Austin III or Roman Wilson, but he hasn't had any meaningful production really ever in his NFL career. The last time he eclipsed 200 yards was several seasons ago. I think the most he's racked up in a season is 300 yards, if I'm not mistaken. So I think I'm just looking at another player who has been brought in to help competition, maybe help the scout team in practice, but beyond that, I really struggle to see someone who can help the 53-man roster, who can be a viable target for Aaron Rodgers against the New England Patriots or Minnesota Vikings or anything like that moving forward. So I don't think you're missing anything, brother. I don't think most other people are either, but at least he has some height that could be exciting on the practice field. Who knows?
I agree. I don't disagree with the height thing. Do you want to know how I learned the news? I looked at my phone. I got a text message that said Hodges to the Steelers, and I was like, Duck Hodges is coming back. I have no idea what that means. And then I saw it on Twitter from Dov Kleiman, was the first one I saw, who tweeted out and said, major pickup for Aaron Rodgers. And I went, Am I missing something here? Do I just not know who this guy is? Do I pay that little attention to the New York Giants over the last couple of years that I don't get it here? To me, it is exactly what you said. It is we need to start throwing darts against the wall and seeing what sticks, and we hope that Isaiah Hodgins sticks. That's what this is. It's Raheem Jarrett, who is the same guy, but in the slot. And I think week 2 was okay, a lot of things that we saw during training camp kind of came true. We spent all of the summer in Latrobe watching an offense that did not look very good. And we said, well, the defense looks crazy. So it doesn't matter how good the offense looks because the defense looks crazy. They're going against this all-star, all-pro, insane defense. Might be the greatest thing to ever touch the turf. The defense stinks. And the offense didn't look good in week 2. And now I think it's like, okay, maybe Lance McCutcheon wasn't the answer. Maybe Keyshawn Williams wasn't the answer. Maybe these guys that we stuck around on the practice squad saying, well, everybody looked good during the summer, became more of like okay, yeah, maybe the offense isn't good and we have to change some things. I also think that the Steelers are getting got a bit of a wake-up call that they do need to find somebody else, because when Calvin Austin isn't doing anything and DK Metcalf is dropping footballs, there really isn't anybody else, and they need to go out and they need to find somebody. And I don't think Isaiah Hodgins is that guy, but they're going to test the waters. Do you see him playing this season? Like, do you see Isaiah Hodgins taking the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers anytime soon? We're still waiting on Roman Wilson here, okay? Like, we're still waiting. Roman hasn't touched the field more than 4 times in 2 games. He's got a total of 14 snaps, I believe, on offense. I mean, Scotty Miller still isn't out there after having a great summer. Ben Skoranek was the guy in week 1. Where does he go in week? Like, do you think Isaiah Hodgins is the guy that they're bringing in to somehow surpass these guys?
No, I can't. I can't see it. I think that would be a non-factor in terms of actually improving the offense, right? It would be the same as, let's bring back Big Strack in the black Cadillac, put him in the slot and see what happens at this point. Like, I don't think we're talking about anyone who is a difference maker. So no, I think the only situation he plays is due to injury concerns, or if there is just so much more continuation of this offense struggling and there is no other production happening. Like, sure, why not give him a shot? But
yeah,
as things stand currently heading into this matchup against the New England Patriots, I don't foresee him being a part of this game at all. I don't foresee him being a part of the plans over the next couple of weeks. And I think we just, maybe he's a nice practice squad guy. I think that is like the realistic expectation I hold for Isaiah Hodgins entering the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, is just a nice guy to have around to practice.
Yeah.
How exciting.
Not exciting whatsoever. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It just like such another boring, typical move by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I just don't know when it happens. I will say this, and this is not a report, okay? But I was talking to a Miami guy today who said that Tyreek Hill is definitely going to get traded at some point. And he said, I obviously wanted to talk to you about it because Pittsburgh seems to constantly be mentioned. I don't know. That's not a report of any sorts. All I'm saying is maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers are actually snooping around a little bit, and maybe they have their eyes on something, Maybe they have their eyes on on something. All right, let's talk fixing the Pittsburgh Steelers, because that's what the Steelers got to do here, is figure this thing out before week 3 and the rest of the season. They're 1-1. Things could be worse. I mean, the NFL is drunk right now. Let's be very honest. You know, the Cincinnati Bengals are 2-0 without a starting quarterback, the worst offensive line of all time, and somehow scoring 35 points a game. Shout out to my fantasy team who has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Hell yeah. Meanwhile, you got teams like the Ravens that are 1-1, the Pittsburgh Steelers that are 1-1. Everything's wide open, and the Kansas City Chiefs look like they might be done. The Pittsburgh Steelers got to fix some things, and they got to fix some things fast. Mike Tomlin said it's just maturity. That's all it is the defense has to mature together. Come on, what are we even talking about here? You wrote about it today. It'll come out tomorrow morning. This is a sneak peek of what you had to say about the Steelers and who could fix them. So I'll open the floor. I'll give it to you. Who could fix the Pittsburgh Steelers here, Jacob? Who could be the group of guys that put themselves together to say, well, the Steelers are going to be okay, and this is why?
Well, I mean, we have been talking about the offense so much. I think let's just focus there. There is a solid in-house option here that you and I have talked about a ton. Seems to be a potential matchup issue. Seems to be someone that Aaron Rodgers has liked since arriving in Pittsburgh, but we've seen barely anything of him. I am talking about the one and the only Darnell Washington. Yes, I know there are multiple tight ends already not getting enough looks on this offense. We have the Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith questions very much present entering week 3. But on that 2-point conversion try, where Darnell Washington basically just reached up and grabbed that ball, it felt like a confirmation, a light bulb moment of what you and I have talked about a ton over the past couple of months. This guy is someone who can give you a matchup nightmare when used correctly. I don't think he is the absolute answer to fixing and turning around this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Absolutely not. But I think a key part in actually moving the offense and making sure that everything continues to go and making sure you have someone who is consistent every single play. You have Darnell Washington here chomping at the bit to take on a larger role. I think you can give it to him. And I think if Aaron Rodgers were to give him the ball more, he might find his way into being a legitimate second tight end in the NFL. So that's my first. I'm curious, you've been a fan of Darnell Washington. Do you think there is any more space for him to rise up in this offense? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. You don't even finish the sentence. The answer is yes. It's Darnell Washington to the moon was all we talked about all summer long. Darnell Washington looks great. Darnell Washington's going to be involved in the offense. Darnell Washington should be involved in the offense. To be honest with you, you have 7 tight ends, and the Steelers have used a very small amount of their tight ends through 2 weeks. Jonnu Smith was like the guy in week 1, but they were all screen passes and shorter routes. Pat Freiermuth caught 2 passes for like 2 first downs, and it was valuable for sure. And Darnell Washington did nothing. All he's done in 2 weeks is catch a 2-point conversion, which, good 2-point conversion. Yeah. Yes, like easily, yes. Use them all, but like, where is Darnell? How many times do we have to keep saying Darnell looks good? Give him an opportunity. You're looking for a tall guy to be another option for this offense. Yeah, you have one. He's 7 feet tall, 325 pounds. He runs like a slow running back, and he jumps like a wide receiver. Use him. Just use him. Yeah, my answer to that one's, it's the best way you could have started this list, and it's a yes. It's an easy yes from me.
Incredible. I had a feeling you would be on board. This one I'm not as sure if you'll be on board with. But talking about maybe some practice squad players being elevated, I think looking at the running game, I think someone like Trey Sermon could be not, again, I don't think these are full on solutions for the entire season, but for the next couple of weeks, I think having someone like Trey Sermon, who is very much a counter to what Jaylen Warren can bring. I like that reaction. Someone who's so different from what Jaylen Warren does well, where Jaylen Warren exceeds and excels. And I think he is an actual change of pace back compared to someone like Kenneth Gainwell. I think if you have some more, this backfield by committee sort of approach, you need to
Yeah.
have those real sort of change of pace, different skill sets working together and balancing out. Right now, it's not really happening. You get Jalen Warren going well, you defer over to Kenneth Gainwell. He's basically Jalen Warren, but slower. So like
Yeah.
you're talking about basically the same back 1-2 punch. Caleb Johnson's a non-factor. I'd love to see someone who is, a little bigger, a little stronger, a little more downhill back. Someone like a Trey Sermon could come in here and just change the pace up and maybe help get these things going. I don't think he's not a 1,000-yard rusher. He's not a 500
No,
yard rusher, but he
no.
could help this team just kind of kickstart things and reignite this. Thoughts on that one?
Dude, I was not expecting Trey Sermon to make his way onto this list whatsoever, but I am all for it. I am all what are you getting right now? You got Kenneth Gainwell, who I love Kenny G, man. And I talked to Kenny G up all summer long. And through 2 weeks, I have to admit my wrong and say it hasn't turned out to be what I'm looking for. Not a bad player by no means, making great plays from time to time. Jalen's your running back one. Caleb is not going to see the field. Like Caleb is not, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a healthy scratch this weekend. Like that's who Caleb Johnson's going to be. Yeah, bring Trey Sermon up. Why would you not? That's a great move. I was not expecting Trey Sermon. He's a power back. He adds an element in the middle of your tackles that you need in the running game right now that you thought you were going to get from Caleb Johnson. You have him for 3 games before you have to decide whether or not you have to sign him to the active roster or not. And yes, you want to save those games to a degree to make sure that, if Jalen gets hurt, if Kenny G gets hurt, if Caleb gets hurt during the season, which injuries always happen, that you have a replacement option. But right now, it's about getting something going on the ground. He can be that you give him 6 rushes a game, right up the middle, and see what he could do. If he turns 6 rushes into 25 yards and one of them's on the goal line for a touchdown, that's a win. It's a massive win. Yeah, I think just to get it going at bare minimum, I think that's a great move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a shocker to me. And we have started this list. How do you fix the Pittsburgh Steelers with Darnell Washington and Trey Sermon? And nobody in their mother saw this coming. And I'm 2 for 2 right now. I love it. I love it. Trey Sermon's that's a win right there, my friend. That is a win for sure.
Well, I think there are solutions here in-house. We've talked a lot recently about how looking beyond the organization just doesn't feel as feasible to bring people in to help. So, I think when you look at what you have here, they might not be superstars or guys that you have 100% faith in, but in an NFL season, it just requires players to step up. I like what they could do there. Let me shift over to the defensive side of the ball. I think the obvious one here is they just need TJ Watt to figure out his pass rush things. That's too obvious. Here's what I really desperately need to see for this Pittsburgh Steelers defense to even begin climbing back to elite. Their middle linebackers, take your pick, Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, Cole Holcomb, I don't care who it is. The run defense stops with their failures the past couple of weeks.
Agreed.
So many plays. They are just not very impactful in stopping the run. They are caught up in the mess. They get absorbed by the offensive and defensive linemen in front of them. And it totally erases that quick, explosive athleticism that defines really all 3 of those middle linebackers. So I am looking for, the New England Patriots are a great test. Drake May's mobility is a great test. They have Travion Henderson, great test. You have people who can really give these quick middle linebackers a test, and Fitz really, if they struggle again, to try and affect the run game. So if the Steelers are going to have a strong defense, if it's going to turn around at all, that trio has to go from below expectations to leaders of the pack. Take your pick as to which one of those can step up the most. I'd love it to be Peyton Wilson as that second-year guy, as the youngster of the group, but really I think the responsibility and the leadership stuff will fall to Patrick Queen. So middle linebackers have to step up here. And there's simple as that.
I agree. And my pick would be Patrick Queen. I think if anybody of that inside linebacker group is going to say, screw it, I got to be elite for this defense to be elite, it's going to be Patrick Queen. Like that's going to be, I want to see more from Peyton Wilson. He hasn't shown me nearly enough as a starting inside linebacker so far. He still looks like he is not ready to be a 3-down linebacker. There's still work to be had there. He's super explosive, but terrible at shedding blocks. I mean, I think there's a lot of growth to come, but a lot of growth yet to be had. Patrick Queen's mine. That's a good one for sure. You got more, or is that your 3?
I have more, but I will save them and encourage everyone to read what I have that comes out tomorrow morning.
I love it. I love it. That's a list of 3 that I was not expecting, and I will not lie to you. I love every single second of it. All right, it's Tuesday. Let's finish off our agenda before we start answering everybody's questions with Overreaction Tuesday. I got a 4-pack for you. I am I've been fired up about these all morning, dude. I dreamt about them, okay? My wife's sick, so me and her are sleeping in different beds because there ain't no chance. This is the timeline of the Strackbine household right now. My wife came home sick on yesterday, which means that if I am going to get sick, it's going to be like Friday. You want to know what Monday is? Dublin, Ireland. That's not happening, bro. That I will avoid that at all costs. I got air purifiers in every single room. I got the dehumidifier going. I got all the windows open at all times. I slept in the guest bedroom last night. Yeah, there ain't no chance, dude. I won't kiss my wife till Friday. There's nope, not happening. We got our whole lives in Dublin to smooch it up this week. Nope. I dreamt last night as I sat there watching the Charlie Sheen documentary. Because we didn't go to bed to Emily in Paris. It was a beautiful time. And I was brain was going on these overreactions. And I am so pumped to bring them to you. So let's get into it.
It's a fine line between, drinking wine and squashing grapes, as we say in this business. And sometimes it's very subtle.
Sometimes it's very, very subtle. All right, let's start with the guy that's coming in here who is going to be subtle. Isaiah Hodgins is going to have a very minimal to absolutely zero role for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a guy nobody really knows who he is. To be honest, most people don't really care who he is. Expectations in Pittsburgh are not high. But right now, there is no wide receiver 2. It's Calvin Austin, but he didn't do anything in week 2. The tight end duo that everybody was talking about. Mike Tomlin said it 100 times. Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth, they're the tight end 2, or they're the wide receiver 2. Omar Khan couldn't use Roman Wilson's name. Omar Khan told us how confident he is in Roman Wilson more times this offseason than Roman Wilson has taken the field on offense through 2 weeks. Not looking good. Isaiah Hodgins comes in here. There's not an opening yet. There might be at some point this season. We're going to start hot on this one. Let's bring the positivity up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Isaiah Hodgins isn't going to play much this week. He's probably not going to play much next week. We'll see if he plays at all. But when he does, and he will at some point, but when Isaiah Hodgins, by the end of the season, touches the field for the black and gold, he will at least one time this season lead the Pittsburgh Steelers in receiving yards. They might not have gotten a stud. They might not have gotten the guy that they wanted. There is a lot of questions here. What I will tell you is they got a guy who's going to have at least one game, and it's going to be a good one. Isaiah Hodgins leads the team in receiving yards at least once this season. Overreaction or not?
Oh, gosh. I'm picturing a week, 14-15 game against the Miami Dolphins. And there's no DK Metcalf for some reason, or there's no Calvin Austin for some reason, or something like that. And in steps this guy that arrived in September, Isaiah Hodgins, and he has 65 yards to lead the Steelers.
65 yards. That's all you need
day.
Sometimes.
And that's it. And I think that's, I don't get it twisted. This guy's not popping off for 100+ yards in a game here. He might come in here and record 50 or 60, and that might just be enough the way this offense is going. So not an overreaction, and I hate that I said that. You're trying to get me on record. Next.
Look at at some point when he does do that, you will look good. Okay. We will replay it and you will look good, but we're going to keep it going here. Jaylen Warren, my friend, I talked that man up for a whole year now. We are 8 months deep And I don't know if he's heard it, but he always gives me decent answers during press conferences, so I feel like he has. I don't know if it's a TikTok, it's a YouTube video, if he's in the chat right now, if you are. Anyways, he found his spark in week 2 against the Seattle Seahawks, but he found it through the air. That's coming through the ground. Jaylen Warren's going to get it done at some point, and it's going to be in week 3. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to finally do it. They're going to finally put the ball in his hands and let him run, and then let him run again, and then let him run again. And when he's doing well, they're going to let him run again, something they haven't let him do in 2 weeks. Jaylen Warren is going to be the Steelers' first 100-yard rusher in week 3 against the New England Patriots.
Not an overreaction.
What?
Again, not an overreaction.
That's a win.
Overreaction.
That's a win.
Is it unlikely? Sure, right? Not a lot of optimism here on a Tuesday, right? Not a lot of optimism entering week 3. The amount
None.
of and I think that's fair for you to not have it, but the amount of volatility in the Steelers offense right now, they are unpredictable. They put up 34 points against a probably bad Jets defense, 17 against a kind of worse Seahawks defense.
Yes,
maybe
sir.
this is the game that Jaylen Warren figures it all out, and this is the offensive explosion in the rushing game. Like, there's been nothing to indicate to me that this is exactly the way the Steelers will perform on offense for the rest of the season. So, because I have no predictability in this, I think it's not an overreaction. We have 2 not overreactions to begin this 4-pack, and I am genuinely shocked, my man.
I'm going to be honest. I'm ridiculously shocked. I thought we were 0 for 2 coming in here, but again, I was fired up. And the Hodges one, that was off the brain. I was sitting in traffic going, "Oh, we need an Isaiah Hodgins. Got to get it going. Got to get it going." This was after the text that said Hodges to the Steelers, and I said, "Who the hell is Hodges?" That sounds like a guy from CIS. I have no idea who we talking about here. It didn't text them back, so they are going to definitely be watching this show and definitely they're going to be upset, but I love you. Thanks. Number 3 for you. Here we go. Let's keep it going, and let's keep the positivity high because it's Positivity Tuesday. That's officially here on All Steelers Talk. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense stinks. Like dog water stinks, dude. It is like you just got a big sloppy kiss from your golden retriever upstairs. It's not good, okay? But they're getting better. We're waiting on the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And the Patriots, they are not that good of a football team. I'm sorry. Drake May looked good against the Miami Dolphins, who might be the only defense worse than the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. But he did look good. The difference is that I don't have faith in the guy that replaced Artie Burns. I just don't. I do have faith in Darius Slay, Joey Porter Jr., TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and Jaylen Warren. This is the first game where the Steelers wake up, shutting down New England to under, not and or under 14 points in week 3. Overreaction or not?
Oh, there it is. There's the overreaction. Listen,
there it is.
This, I know this defense was banged up last week. They've been banged up to start the season. There is, I understand this sort of perspective of they haven't had a lot of time together yet. I don't buy into it, but I understand all of these reasons to maybe believe that the Steelers defense has a lot more runway to improve. And I'm hoping that is the case. Through 2 weeks, they look to be just an abysmal defense. And unless TJ Watt truly is going to turn it around with the pass rush and get home to the quarterback against the New England Patriots, the stopping the scoring won't happen yet. That is the only way it will, in my opinion. And I think that is probably not going to just yet. I think they still have a lot of work to do, a lot more progress to make until they become that elite defense that they have believed themselves to be and still do within that locker room. But nope, they're probably going to give up 21 or something or more to the Patriots.
It is wild that we have entered a season, the first time in a long time, where the Steelers defense is like very clearly the issue. And that is crazy even more when you look at it and say, if we were playing Madden, this defense would be wild good, like crazy. You couldn't come up with this if you tried. That's how good they'd be. But I don't disagree with you. I mean, I do, because there's my overreactions, but I hear where you're coming from. Here's my 4-pack for you. Finish this bad boy off. And again, Positivity Tuesday here on All Steelers Talk. Mike Tomlin, talk of the town right now. He is all we got to say. He is taking all the blame, as he should. And I mean, I was talking today, and this is what a source told me today. Called me and just checking in on me, because people are nice and kind, and I love it. And said, just want to gauge what you're getting from the fan base. That was the question. And I said, yeah, man, I mean, people are pretty upset right now. Like nobody's walking around super happy about the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's like, I just want you to know so that you are aware, like the Steelers and this team and these players have so much confidence in Aaron Rodgers. And I stopped him and I said, I don't know where you're going with this, but I'm going to be honest with you. So does everybody else. You want to know who they don't have confidence in? Mike Tomlin. And he's like, yeah, it's like the organization does, but everybody obviously understands. We get it. Everybody gets it. All right. Mike Tomlin is the talk. After a win in New England at Gillette Stadium, no one, and I mean no one, is going to have a moment to remember, because nobody does have moments to remember, just like Mikey T. In week 3, as he walks up there, Pittsburgh Steelers victorious, 2-1, looking good. Everybody's pumped up once again. We're getting a mic drop Tomlinism as he walks off the podium victorious. Overreaction or not?
Man, I'll meet you at the intersection of optimism and Steelers victory. And I'll say it's not an overreaction. Mike Tomlin is clearly fired up. There is some extra motivation in the veteran coach to right the wrongs of the past couple of weeks. That is clear as day from Mikey T.
Yes.
With that, when that man gets on a roll, who knows what he can spout off. So I would not be shocked if he is sitting there after a victory, just laying it out there and gives us a classic Tomlinism. And more than anything, Noah, I want to see that happen. So for that reason, not an overreaction. Even split 2-2 on the 4-pack today.
I love it.
I can't give you all the ingredients to the hot dog. You might not like it.
And look, I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what words are coming out of this guy's mouth on Sunday, but I'm keeping the optimism that we're getting something. That's our Overreaction Tuesday. I'm fired up for it. All right, with that said, guys, that's everything on our agenda. Start tossing your questions in the chat. We'll get to as many of them as we can on the other side of this break. But first, a quick word from our boys over at DraftKings. What's up, AST Nation? I've teamed up with DraftKings. The next great touchdown is coming. You can bet on it. And the best way to do so is through DraftKings Sportsbooks, where new customers who bet $5 get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen. Then use your bonus bets to stay in on the action and bet on DraftKings same game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. And don't worry, if sports betting is not yet available in your state, you're fine. You can still join in on all of the fun with DraftKings daily fantasy sports and have the shot to win cash prizes. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Sign up using my promo code ALLSTEELERS and get in on the action. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Alrighty. Shout out to our super chatters. Shout out to our members. Make sure you're calling into tomorrow's call-in show. And let's kick things off with I want to kick things off with Caleb here, because I have something for this question and I need you to answer it while you're still in the chat. And I know that you're on the chat. Caleb asks, should I trade Rome Odunze for Jalen Waddle? I thought it was and Jalen Waddle. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I'm a big no on this, only because I have almost a 0% faith in Jalen Waddle to stay healthy for an entire season. That is my
Mhm.
big no. I don't know what his stats are, and I'll look them up now. But I'm a no. Oh, man, but Rome did nothing in week 2.
Rome had a
He had a
on
touchdown.
my fantasy need a touchdown.
He had a touchdown.
If I'm tracking these comments correctly, I think there's a Kenneth Walker sweetener going back the other way
and
with Jalen
no.
Waddle.
That's a yes then. Jalen Waddle and
I'd
Kenneth.
take
Yeah,
that.
why not? Yeah, it's a 2-for-1 deal right there. It's a 2-for-1 deal. I'm a 2-for-1er all day. You know what I mean? If I go to McDonald's and it's a 2-for-1 deal, I don't even need the second food, but I'm getting it. You know what I mean? And I'll eat it.
Throw
right
the
after the
nuggies
first
on
one,
there, please.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what it is. I'm always a 2-for-1er, and I believe in Kenneth Gainwell. You are taking a big risk, my friend, of both of those guys being injury prone, but I think worth it.
Mhm.
I support this trade. Pull it off. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Smootest Buddhist. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's good. That's plenty.
Beautiful. Smootest Buddhist. Insert clip of Jeff Goldblum saying, "You crazy son of a bitch. You actually did it." Most Pittsburgh Steelers signing ever. Like is it giving you flashbacks of Mike Williams here? Just like a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit in terms, yes, it's a little deja vu inducing to have the Steelers once again be like, here's your answer, right? And you're like, that's not, I needed a car and you sent me rollerblades. Like, I just don't think that is like at all how that works, but like, thank you.
He gave me 2 pens and some duct tape.
Yeah, they're like, figure it out. And it's like, I appreciate the thought, I guess. But yeah, I would have rather have Mike Williams, because at least he has some resume. But yeah, it's very deja vu.
Smooth comes in again. Tyreek Hill, we're good. Isaiah Rodgers is here. We're fine. I'll give you something better than Tyreek Hill, dude. Odell Beckham Jr. Would you have went Odell before you went Isaiah Hodgins? I thought it was Isaiah Rodgers. Again, dude, and he's gonna see this, and I'm gonna get some nasty looks in the locker room tomorrow, and that's okay because I love you guys and I love the show, and I gotta keep it real with the people. Again, my reaction was, I have an actual phone here, so I'll actually do this. Hodges to the Steelers. Who is Hodges? Who is this? What are we I was so confused. Would you have gone Odell first?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like what is the other side of this equation is someone who Noah thought was Duck Hodges' older brother. Like what if we're talking about where the better option might be? Again, give me Odell. Give me a guy who's won a Super Bowl and has at least like an actual 1,000-yard season to his resume. Like he might not be good now, but we already know that's the case with Isaiah Hodgins. And sorry, like if I see him on Friday, like I'm gonna dap him up and be like, I didn't say that. That was the other co-host who said all that stuff,
brother.
Which is crazy, but,
it's just not.
It's crazy that Noah said all that stuff. I always say that. I'm like, man, Noah needs to stop running his mouth.
Jacob just goes in on Fridays and he walks right up to like, I don't even know who. TJ would be the guy. I'm so scared to talk to TJ on Friday a little bit, actually, after today's to go. And he just like, yo, dude, did you see what Noah Strackbine had to say about you on Tuesday? Because that guy, dude, yikes. You should go listen to that. Here, actually, I have pulled up on my phone. I'll be back in 20 minutes. I could see it. Ryan, we're all in, folks. Isaiah Hodgins and 4 tight end sets. Dude, Smoothest Buddhist and Ryan coming in here hot. I love it, guys. Wait, hold up, dude. It still goes. It keeps it going. Ryan's with another classic. Don't worry. You could call up Trey Sermon. Arthur Smith will just run him outside the tackles. Dude, the shots have been fired. There is no faith in the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. And the fall off from week 1, that's the biggest thing, is like week 1 was like Arthur Smith's a god. What he just did was crazy. And week 2 was like, I mean, did we even play offense? I don't know what happened here. It was like you walked back into Acrisure Stadium and the ghost of whichever witch you pissed off that cursed you as the Pittsburgh Steelers organization was like, not anymore. And then it went right back to old school, terrible Pittsburgh Steelers offense. That's what it felt like, right? Like it just felt like it was like, oh, I forgot that this is what watching a Steelers game is actually like. This was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Shout out.
True. We don't even talk about how, the reaction has been so swift and severe to this like complete 180 that like we haven't even talked about that. Like I thought Broderick Jones looked fantastic for the most part. And I thought he responded absolutely wonderfully for a player who's been under intense scrutiny. Not worth mentioning right now because the offense looks like a JV squad. But like
Yes.
there's there's nothing worth mentioning that's like that good. But it's funny to me how intense the backlash has been to the offense's struggles in week 2, and it's warranted. Yes. I hear you. It is warranted, but wow, it's been crazy to see. This week has been wild already.
Positivity Tuesday, baby. Chris, guys, what is this what all in means to the Steelers? This feels like the team is tanking for a high draft pick. At least we might get our future quarterback. Look, I think the Steelers are 2 weeks in. I'll take a breath here, okay, and say the Steelers are 2 weeks in. They have not made a move that I feel confident in. And of all the wide receiver moves, you're going, what the hell was that one? You just picked a name out of the bucket. Did everybody forget that there are other wide receivers available? I mean, I just don't know. Did you owe them a favor? I don't know where this came from. But you still have 6 weeks, okay? You have 6 weeks, and Isaiah Hodgins is not tying himself to the Pittsburgh Steelers long enough for the Steelers to say, oh, this is the only move we can make. So you got to hope that this is not one and done, or that my overreaction is correct, and the Steelers at some point pull this thing out, and Isaiah Hodgins looks like a freak. That's what you got to hope for. But again, only time will tell. Only time will tell. Yeah. Chris has another one here. Go ahead.
Sure. No, I think just the only thing that encouraged me like slightly is like the overreactions are like a very natural thing. The backlash is a very natural thing on the outside observing it. But like the one thing that I find some like encouragement in was whenever Aaron Rodgers was asked, I think like pretty point blank, like, is it frustrating to get like sacked a couple of times? And he was like, or like, is the frustration building or something like that? I think the question was, and he was like, it's weak. Like taking our lumps is good for us. Like having a loss early is good. Like knowing where your deficiencies are can be a good thing whenever you use it to improve. That's the key now. Like the deficiencies have been exposed so clearly, so glaringly. Can you use that now to improve? That's the question now. And the fact that the Steelers in the locker room are not having that same panic, that same overreaction, that is totally fair to have on the outside. That gives me some encouragement. If it was all hands on deck, they're like, if we lose this game, we're done. Then I would be like, then they're just done. But but I don't think that's the case quite yet. I think they have lots of season left to play where we can be surprised still.
I agree. Chris has another one here. Should the Steelers try Roman Wilson as a kick returner? My easy answer to this is yes. I'd put Roman back there. If Roman doesn't work out, I put Scotty Miller back there. Like you have guys who have experience as kick returners. Put him. Roman was back there the whole. Again, I don't know who Roman pissed off. I don't know if he kicked Mike Tomlin's kid in gave him a Charlie horse. Come on, this is a family show. Or if he spit on Omar Khan, or like what happened, I have no idea. What I do know is that like the Roman spent all summer as the starting kick returner, and then it was just like Caleb Johnson, brother. Let's get him in there. Let's go put him back there. Let's go see what happens. I think my easy answer to this one is yes. My easy answer. Put him back there. And if he doesn't work out, I'm going Scotty Miller as my backup choice.
Sure. Yeah, I think that like for the same reasons that Mike Tomlin initially put Caleb Johnson on the kick return, which was to give him an opportunity to get touches, to play snaps and build confidence. The exact same reasoning applies to Roman Wilson. He has one catch through 2 games, and the one catch he made against the Seahawks, he got basically his knees blown out like it was in like not another teen movie where he just got destroyed as soon as the ball hit his hands. Like he has no confidence as a player, even though he is immensely talented. Like, put him in situations where he can succeed, and maybe he builds up into a more competent, more impactful player. You did it for Caleb Johnson. You wanted to invest in him in that way. Why not invest in Roman Wilson? Put him on the kick return, see if it works, and if not, training camp hero Scotty Miller is just chomping at the bit for more opportunity.
Chomping at the bit. I agree 100%. Chris has another one, and I love you, Chris. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, brother. Boswell is our MVP. He, Warren, and DK are all good. I will say I'm taking DK off this list until further notice. After the game on Sunday, I'm taking DK's gone, brother. He's gone. Jaylen Warren for sure. Him and Chris Boswell are the best. A running back who is not doing well running the football and your kicker are the best two players on the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. And I'd say that with confidence. With confidence, I would say that.
It's wow. How exciting on this Positive Tuesday.
Positivity Tuesday coming in hot. Chris has another one. Guys, where are the captains to motivate this team? This team needs someone to light a fire underneath them, or we are doomed to watch this every game. Okay, so here's another crazy fact, okay? TJ, go listen, Google somebody talking about TJ Watt's pregame speeches. They are crazy from what I hear. I've never seen one, obviously, but I have heard that they will make you ready to snap a human in half if you have to do it. That's how hard you will run through them. I've heard that there have been moments where TJ smashing helmets on his head, gushing blood, like not caring at all. The guy is a maniac. It just feels like the fire just isn't there when they walk on the field. And again, I hope that that's just mesh, but I don't know where I put the blame when it comes to not being fired up. I guess you could say it's the captains, but Aaron's not a fired up guy he's never struck me as a big fired up guy. I don't know. Your thoughts?
Yeah. No, I think TJ Watt and Cam Hayward provide that sort of like vocal, rah-rah, whatever you want to call it in terms of like leadership that's like very demonstrative within the locker room. But like what I can't help but to think about is like if you really need your defensive captain to get you riled up enough to play an NFL game that you are paid to do, like I don't know if another human can instill that within you. Like, if you can't get like, I don't know, like if Noah had to just like rile me up to do the podcast, maybe he just shouldn't do it with me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I need him to like, that's my job. So I just don't understand why that maybe the message misses, right? Like it's one thing when it's coaches to players, because there's a whole different dynamic relationship power thing that's going on where like you have to communicate clearly and you have to be in sync with the players you're coaching. Your defensive captain is just basically going to be like, all right, like let's get going, and tell you whenever you are messing up in a way that the coach doesn't. And I just fail to see how professional athletes need anything more than that to be properly motivated going into a game. Can players be to the detriment of their teammates by being like locker room distractions? Of course. TJ Watt and Cam Hayward are the complete opposite of that. They are the inviting, welcoming leaders that you envision. I don't know what else they can do if like the entire 53-man roster hears what they do before the game and then chooses not to match that intensity out on the field. Like how can the leadership be better in that situation? I don't know.
I don't think it can. Shout out to Eddie the First here. Positivity Tuesday will quickly turn into what are we doing Wednesday? Unbelievable. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. So awesome, dude. So awesome. Comment of the day for sure. Shout out my guy, Grayson the Ginger. A member for 7 months. My dude, thank you so much. How much help do you think Derek Harmon will provide to our defensive line? This is quite possibly the worst defense I've seen since I started watching in 2004. Steelers have had some rough defenses, okay? I get it that memories are short. I hear that 100%. Ross Cockrell was the starting outside linebacker, or the starting outside corner for the Pittsburgh Steelers for nearly an entire season. And we are a long way away from that situation. Are they playing bad? For sure. But like, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Okay. We're not Ross Cockrell there. And maybe one day we'll get there, but let's hope we never do. I think Derek Harmon's going to make a significant difference to this defense. I think what he's going to be able to do is going to be crazy. And just having, I don't think Isaiah Loudermilk's played terrible, but I just think having a guy out there that like is a first round dominant pick is going to change a lot of things for the Steelers. I think what Derek Harmon brings, both pass rush and run defense, and gives to TJ Watt, who will be next to him, and Cam Hayward on the other side, like significant. I think it's going to be very significant what he brings to the defense whenever he does return.
Yeah, I think run defense is like specifically where I am most focused on his impact, because I think like the push that he can get at the line of scrimmage and at the point of contact might be just enough to help, Patrick Queen or Peyton Wilson not sort of get caught up in all of the muck and the mess that happens there. And because Derek Harmon is just so freakishly strong, and that was on display the entirety of training camp in the preseason. So if that translates into real NFL action, like I don't think we're talking about how the New England Patriots and the Minnesota Vikings and the Browns and Bengals, et cetera, are pushing the defensive line back so much. And maybe that linebacker situation improves ever so slightly. So I do think Derek Harmon is going to have a big impact on this defense. But I do also think it is worth noting how kind of ridiculous it is that this defense of superstars that is paid the second most in the entire NFL is waiting for their first year rookie who has no NFL starts to come in here and save the day. I think that's kind of crazy. I think you're muted.
I don't think he's gonna change everything, but I do think that there's a jump from Isaiah Loudermilk and Daniel Ikuwale and Y Black to Derek Harmon for sure. Also, I apologize that I realized I was looking like this for a minute. I got something in my eye, man. Skip me the whole time. No. Grayson the Ginger again. Is there any regret for the Steelers not extending Najee Harris? I think no. Do I think Najee was a capable 1,000-yard rusher? For sure. Do I think he was reliable? For sure. Do I think he got into a firework accident this summer that was still going to happen no matter whether he was on the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Los Angeles Chargers, and was probably going to take a pretty significant step back because of it? Yes. So I think in the long run, I don't think there's any regret in Pittsburgh right now, but I think if there is going to be regret, it is that they didn't utilize free agency to get somebody that complemented Jaylen Warren instead of was another Jaylen Warren. And I think that comes back to they thought Caleb was going to be a beast, and he's not ready yet. But I don't think it's necessarily regretting Najee as much as it's and again, I don't think they have any regret right now, and I think it's too early to have regret, but as much as it's not getting somebody to complement Jaylen Warren. That's kind of how I view it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what feels the most regretful is using a third-round pick on Caleb Johnson, and he's not able to step into your backfield immediately whenever you're a team trying to win a Super Bowl. I don't find it like Najee, like I'm like such a on the fence person when it comes to like Najee's tenure with the Steelers. Like the fact that he picked up 1,000 yards yearly gets discounted too often in my opinion, but like he was by no means like an overly impressive starting running back. Like he doesn't seem like a missing piece that would, similarly to how we've been talking about Isaiah Hodgins, like he doesn't feel like a piece to me that comes in here and saves the rushing part of the offense. He seems like just another player who would get stuck in the mess that is the Pittsburgh Steelers run offense right now. So no regrets on that end. And I think maybe, no hate to Najee, but I don't think he does really anything to help improve this offense right now.
I agree. Tortellini salad. What's more likely? Jumping the gun on a little. What's more like? What are we doing Wednesday? Tyreek comes to Pittsburgh and saves the Steelers offense, or Tyreek Hill has a reunion in Kansas City and leads the league in receiving yards. Way to ruin my what's more likely tomorrow. No, I'm just joking. I'll come up with a better one. shout out my guy here. Mike Brown also asked, do you think Tyreek Hill is a real choice? And if so, what would you be willing to trade him? So it lines up perfectly. Tyreek Hill comes to Pittsburgh and saves the Steelers offense, or Tyreek has a reunion in Kansas City and leads the league in receiving yards. What's more likely?
What seems more likely to me would be a reunion with Kansas City and him just finding crazy success.
What are we
but
doing?
yeah, I know it's not the good. I know. What are we
What are
doing
we
Tuesday?
doing? What are we doing?
But I just can't. He could certainly help. To answer the second question, I would be willing to give up a
fourth round pick,
third round pick if I'm absolutely pressed. But I know, did you hear the disgust like as I said that word? I don't think the Dolphins are in any sort of leverage situation. You could probably get him for like a fifth or a sixth realistically, but a desperate team must take desperate measures. So like there is a range here that could be had. All that to say, I find it unlikely that the Steelers acquire Tyreek Hill. Much more likely that he goes back to Kansas City and he breaks out, and maybe they wear T-shirts for him as well. That was crazy. Do you see the T-shirts they wore against the Eagles? A bunch of guys wore like free Rashee Rice, and I'm like, the dude was driving 120 miles per hour. Like he didn't.
What are you freeing?
Get
dude?
in trouble accidentally? Like,
yeah, dude,
didn't get misidentified in the lineup.
Nearly killed somebody. What do we do?
Yeah. Free him.
Free
the people he
doing?
hurt who we didn't check on and fleed the scene from.
Yeah, fleed the scene. That's a federal offense, brother. That's a federal. What are you doing? Like, what do you mean free? What? I did not see that, but I'm glad that I didn't because I would have laughed. And Monday night I had a wee bit headache. You know what I mean? And it would just hurt my head. So I'm just glad that I guess they played Sunday, so it doesn't matter. But still, you know what I'm saying? I agree with you, but I want to say Pittsburgh would be so much more fun. Do I think that he'd lead the or save the Steelers offense? No. Do I think it'd be a blast to watch? I think there'd be potential for sure. For sure. Poke salad. PQ after the game did not sound happy. Blame who? I think Patrick Queen's just pissed, man. I think he's a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, and he doesn't fall back. I don't think that there's anybody to blame in Pittsburgh right now. I think it's 11 dudes. They all play defense. And then there's like 9 dudes. They all play offense. And that's who you're blaming here. Because besides that, I don't think I'm blaming Aaron. I don't think I'm blaming Jalen in the receiving game. And then I'm not blaming anybody on special teams because Corliss Waitman and Chris Boswell are freaks of nature right now, which is an awful thing to be for a team. I don't know. I don't think there is a blame game yet. I think right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's everybody looks really bad.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you just got to blame the person in the mirror at this point. Like, if this continues, there's probably going to be a way to pinpoint the culprits here. But I mean, for right now, it's like you can't just say like it's not just the pass rush not getting home. It's not just the middle linebackers. It's just not the secondary. It's the entirety of it all being quite awful.
Yes, I agree. And to jump onto that one, Cody Silva, hey, no, I dare you to ask Patrick Queen what he thinks of the play calling. Man's defense not looking good. People out there getting confused. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say it 100 more times, and I'm never going to stop saying it. It's Mike Tomlin's defense, man. And until the end of the days, it's Mike Tomlin's defense, which I will not ask him because I'll get slapped in the face. And I don't, you know what I mean? I like my face. It's connected to my neck and the rest of my body. It's a good time. Darian Miller, if it was you, what would you do to get KJ back on track? He is a really good running back, and I feel he is going to shine. Just run some zone run, see how he does. No, to be really honest with you, I'd put him on the bench. That's what I would do. I don't think that the NFL game is – I think the NFL game is way too fast for him right now. He has absolutely zero confidence, and you're just going to make everything way worse by pushing it out there. Right now, I look at KJ is – right now, I look at Caleb Johnson and say he is you hurt your wrist, okay? Working out, you hurt your wrist. the worst thing you can do for that wrist is to continue to work it and say, oh, it's just going to get better. Things are just going to be fine. No, you let it heal. You let everything slow down for a minute, and then you go back at it. And that's what you have to do with Caleb Johnson, is you just have to let the game slow down for him. And you don't do that by pushing guys out there. That's such a misconception in the NFL, is you got to put guys out there and let them, feed the fire. No, that's how you ruin guys a lot of times. That's the biggest downfall of what the NFL has become, I believe, is that we have gone from guys used to sit and learn and develop behind other guys to now he's your first round pick. He's got to play, and guys don't work out because of that. So I think that what I'd be doing is putting him right on the bench and letting him forget that this happened. Let him forget that he even got benched. Let him continue to work, and then you ease him back out there. But, it's not a sit him for 1 week and then see what happens. No, it's a sit him long enough where this doesn't feel like he got benched anymore, where it's like, hey, I'm just a backup part of this offense. Let's learn and grow, that'd be how I handle Caleb Johnson. Any thoughts?
Nothing. I think the only thing I'll add is that I think him sitting could help feel like further motivation for him to come back stronger. I mean, I agree with you 100%. Like, you can't push through this, especially when you're trying to win ball games. He's just not helpful right now. So he needs to figure out what that is exactly. And he can be helpful down the road if he's able to sort of identify what he's been doing the worst and improves upon it. And until that happens, it's not a lot of other sports, like the NHL, by contrast, there's a ton of merit to throwing out these young kids and letting them kind of learn and lose and take their lumps. I get that in a lot of sports. Football, I think, is that one sport where you just really don't have the time, opportunity, or ability to do that.
Yeah, I very much so agree. Cody here, 1,000 yards per season is a minimum of 58 yards per game. Is that good? It's pretty average. It's about as average as you get, which is what I mean. There are a lot of running backs who don't get 1,000 yards per season. To do it consistently is fine, but again, Najee never averaged more than I think his best season was just over 4 yards a carry his rookie year. That season's fine. The rest of them, not the greatest. Definitely not the greatest. Eddie the First, y'all see Duck Hodges on Celebrity Family Feud? I didn't. Did you?
No, that's awesome.
That's so awesome. I'm gonna go watch it. Him. Hopefully, it's Laney Wilson. I'm a fan, dude. I'm all about it. Fruit salad. Drake May to the moon this week in fantasy football. I'm not taking that shot. I'm not taking that at all. I think that's a risk that you could take for sure, but I'm not going to be the one that takes it. I'm not going to be the one that would take that risk. I would not advise. But again, no, I'm not going to say again. I scored 185 fantasy points this week. I'm allowed to say whatever I want. Okay. I'd say no. Yeah. Boy went off. Had no idea either. My brother texted me and was like, yo, dude, just balled out, didn't you? And I was like, what you mean? And then I looked, I was like, oh, smokes. Who's good at fantasy football? This guy's good at fantasy football. Hell yeah. I would not advise him.
Did you know you're 2-0 in the All Steelers Talk League too? Is that the league you're talking about?
No, it's not. But I know I'm 2-0 there. I'm 2-0 in both that league.
We play.
This week we play. See, it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tonight's the, I don't know about you, but I'm a fiddle before bed type of fantasy guy. That's what I.
Oh yeah. Tinker stinker time, to quote the league.
Tinker stinker. Yeah,
that.
For sure. I just didn't want to, say that on, what I mean? Yeah,
I'll say it.
Shout out. Now that it's on, that's there it is, brother. There it is. How long is Joey Porter Jr. out for? I think Mike T said that there's a shot he's coming back this week, right?
He called him questionable today. I took it to mean I think he said questionable at best. So I think it's, I have doubtful in my mind right now, but yeah, I think there's a chance
for sure. Chris, do you blame Tomlin for the lack of effort and heart, which is bringing up a lot of questions here? Broderick, has Tomlin's defense gone soft? And Pittsburgh Hornets, do you expect Chance to start if this team doesn't improve by October 9th when hockey starts, just like they did for Canada? Go back to Chris here. Do you blame Tomlin for the lack of effort and heart? I don't know if I blame him for the lack of. No, I don't blame him for the lack of effort or heart. You're a grown man playing a sport that you're paid millions of dollars for. What I blame him for is like the lack of like. It kind of feels like there's no juice, and he is the guy known for the juice, and it's just not there. So I blame him for that. I don't think I blame him for like the lack of heart or anything. I don't know. Maybe those tie hand in hand. I don't know. I feel like I want to separate them and say no, but I think you could be walking a gray line there. What's your thoughts?
I don't like the effort is not necessarily what I think is lacking. I think there is a lack of accountability afterwards.
Yeah.
Like I didn't hear a lot of like, oh, we didn't execute, right? Like there's a lot of the same Tomlinisms that sort of come out after a loss. Like we didn't execute. His word of the week this week is attrition, talking about other people he lost due to injury. Like there's these words that'll come out, but like I would love to have seen them be like, we stunk and we just got to be better, but it's early. And I would be like, that makes sense to me. But it's like a lot of the justifications for it are, I think, what makes people even more upset and frustrated with the situation.
I agree. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's a tough spot. Just to acknowledge Slim here. Hey, no, if there was another NFL team, do you think they would keep Tomlin around? Yeah, no, to be honest with you, no. I think the answer to that is no. I think we've touched on that a million times because like the answer is no. They would not. They'd have a shorter leash. But this is Pittsburgh, and they're loyal through and through. Or you could use Johnson how you drafted him as a running back. I heard he didn't even return anything at Iowa. They're gonna Broderick Jones this guy. And Cody, I hear what you're saying. I disagree with you, though. I mean, me and Jacob were there all summer, and we constantly said, Caleb looks like this game is moving 10 times faster than he is. So whether he was playing running back or kick returner or anything else, the dude dropped passes. He couldn't block for his life. He was missing holes. Like, I think Caleb's going to be fine. But what I don't think is Caleb Johnson is ready to be a starter or a contributor to an NFL team. And I think that's going to come. But I think right now everybody is, I think it's overlooking the issue to try and put the blame somewhere else. So I disagree. I think that I think this is a Caleb thing. I don't think it's what he's doing type of situation.
Yeah. I think he just has to prove it and earn it more. And it's not about finding more spaces and opportunities for him. He just has to earn his role with the team moving forward.
Yeah. Keeping it trucking here, Michelle. Put Caleb on the practice squad and put Max Hurlman on special teams. The Steelers would. So just for anybody who doesn't know, if you're on the practice squad, you can be picked up and signed by another team. The Steelers would never take that risk, and nor should they. However, Max Hurlman, though, love it. I absolutely love it. I think there's like 6 other guys you put up before him, but I would love it. I would absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout out Maxie, man. Maxie H.
Dude,
what a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy. Nate, was there any update on Highsmith's ankle? Yeah, it's a high ankle sprain, but apparently it's less significant than Alex Highsmith or than Isaiah Loudermilk's, who's out a couple of weeks. Highsmith is listed as questionable. Doubtful. I don't think he's playing this week. I would expect him to miss 3 weeks. And then there's, that room for return. He's not going to go on IR. They're going to hope that he comes back before then, and then we'll finish it off with Pittsburgh Hornets. Speaking of quarterbacks, of quarterback drafts going into week 3, who are your top QBs for the draft? I've been waiting for this question because I got one, brother. I got one guy who continues to look like a freak, who the Pittsburgh Steelers are scouting week after week after week after week, and I am trying to come up with his Yinzer name. It's a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but good old John Mateer, baby. That guy looks like a stud. I don't know if anybody's realized, but he scored like 4 rushing touchdowns and he's thrown for like 20. He leads the nation in passing yards. He looks like an absolute freak out there. John Mateer. I think in Yinzer it's John Mateer. I'm going to work on it still. I'm trying to figure it out. Either way, that's my guy. That's my top QB for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have interest in him. I know that. You could watch the scouting and where they go, and you could judge that easily. That's my guy. John Mater. That's my guy.
Good old John Mater. Yeah, he's rising steadily. I get it. I know Lenore Sellers has been my guy for the entirety. He took a little nasty injury last week, which was tough, but I think he's still my guy if he can be healthy. Yeah, that exactly.
Dude, the sequence of Nate here got me so good. So good.
Whoa. Yeah. No, it's definitely a John Mater. I like John Mater, and Oklahoma's like they are quite the program this year, so very easy to lock on to him and like what he's doing there. I'll keep riding with my guy Lenore Sellers. And there's probably we've also talked about Nussmeier at LSU. I think he's still very much a lot on the top. Like, yeah, hasn't looked bad at all. Am I forgetting anybody?
No, I think those are the guys right now, to be honest with you. Arch hasn't looked great, obviously. Kate Klubnik looks atrocious. So that's a big fat no. Fernando Mendoza looks fine, but, we'll see. But good old Lenore Sellers, good old John Mater. I'm loving them both. All right. With that said, guys, we're heading out here. Thank you guys so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And as always, find all of our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. We will be back tomorrow. Enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg.